got props, we've got mics.
Do one more mic check.
We're going to do one more mic check.
All right, test mic 1, test mic 1.
Test mic 2, test mic 2.
I turned the volume all the way down. 1, test mic 1.
Test mic 2, test mic 2.
That's about right.
Let me make sure I hit play on the video.
Okay.
Yes.
And this is the last test too.
Okay. So you're going to find intro music or for us to use? Yep.
This is the last test too. One more try.
Test mic 2, test mic 2.
One more time. Do it one more time because I forgot to hit record.
Test mic 2, test mic 2.
One more time. Do it one more time because I forgot to hit record. I think this mic is
Test
just.
mic 2,
That's
test mic
not
2.
bad.
I can sit like this.
If you're closer, it's better.
Okay, I will stay close to it.
Don't eat the mic, but
You know, they were talking about that on The Voice the other night, that don't step back, as in you're belting out those notes and you're getting away from the mic, so get away from the mic.
you have to make sure all three.
3 are down.
All right, you ready for this?
I am ready. Are you ready for this?
Sure.
It is May the 15th, right? I'm going to
Where's
hug.
my phone? My phone's over there.
Do you need your phone?
Not really.
Okay.
I just don't remember the date.
I think it is May the 15th because tomorrow's the 16th and I leave on the 17th, so another day up in the sky.
I'll take your word for it.
Yes.
All right, so we're starting.
Yep.
Are we rolling on the camera?
We are rolling on the camera.
We're rolling over here.
Rolling on the river.
We have a backdrop.
We have a backdrop.
We look official.
We look official. We have mics.
I'm still hosting 0 to 60 with a Pinkerton.
With a Pinkerton. Slightly different variation.
It's a different vibe, but it's still a Pinkerton. It's a good thing. So welcome to 0 to 60, or welcome back to 0 to 60. We are relaunching 0 to 60 as a podcast, and we're going to have a lot of fun with it. Allana, for you, those of y'all that don't know, Allana is Andrew's mom, the co-host, co-creator of, and producer of 0 to 60 when we were on the air with APH Radio for 2.5+ years. And Andrew and I got really busy. Andrew got really busy. We'll get into that in a minute. I got really busy, and all of my busyness is behind me and in front of the camera right now.
If
and
they can only see it.
We'll turn that around eventually and let
Okay.
everybody see it. It's not ready for prime time yet, but it's close. It's getting there.
Maybe after our 10th podcast, we could turn the camera around.
You think?
I think so.
It'll be 10? Because I think we'll have it ready before then.
Oh, I hope so.
Yeah.
But we might get 10 done really quickly.
That's true.
Yeah.
We could put 10
haven't
in the
even
books.
decided that yet.
Like how often we're going to record?
Yeah,
It's every day.
every day.
We're not going to record every day.
Do you think we just embarrassed Andrew saying it's Andrew's mom?
Well, you are Andrew's mom.
I am Andrew's mom.
You'll always be Andrew's
I will.
mom.
And I'm very proud to be Andrew's mom.
As you should be.
Yes.
The young man is kicking butt, taking names.
He is. And Max's mom.
That's very true. And Max has got a go-kart now, and Max is boxing, and I'm scared of Max. I think Max can take me. I'm old and broken.
Well, you know, give him just a little bit more time. But
I know.
he's a teddy bear.
Yes, he is. He's a very good dude.
He
and
is.
I'm not even going to get into Paul. We'll just leave Paul.
Yeah, we're gonna leave
out
Paul
of
out.
this
We
now.
might have to bring Paul on though.
We'll bring Paul on. We'll bring Natasha on. We'll bring
Yeah.
Andrew on when he can come in. We'll bring Max on after he has his first race in his new kart.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
We're going to talk all things race cars. We're going to talk all things vehicular, all things cool, and all things that, you know, are happening in the vehicular world that we like.
Yes.
That's what we always talked about on 0 to 60 when it was a radio show. We're going to continue that on the podcast. We'll
take suggestions
Absolutely.
from our listeners and viewers.
Absolutely. We'll
So-
take suggestions. We'll review whatever you guys want us to review. We'll review whatever a manufacturer will let us review.
Yeah.
That's-
Really cool cars.
That's the plan.
Yes.
That's the plan. And we will spend a lot of time at racetracks. I don't know whether you can tell or not, but I play with cars. I don't care how big they are.
I feel like I'm way back when Max and Andrew were little boys. So.
Those are actually RC cars.
Yes, they are big boy toys.
Yeah.
So, but we currently have a lot of race car paraphernalia all over the place. I have a 3-car garage. I can only park 1 car in it.
Really?
Yes.
That is a travesty.
That's, well, 1 daily driver car.
That's still a travesty.
I have a race car in 1 garage, and now we have the go-kart in the 2nd garage.
Which race car do you have?
We have the Formula V.
You still have the Formula V?
He will not let go of the Formula V.
I thought he found a home for the Formula V, or is he keeping the Formula V forever?
Oh, he is keeping that thing forever.
There's sentimental value.
He claimed he was trying to sell it. He couldn't find a buyer, but
wow.
I think he's lying to his mama.
I really thought it was gone.
No, it is sitting in the garage. There's stuff all around it. The trailer's there, all the tools, all the extra parts. It's all sitting there, waiting for his own home.
Uh-huh.
You know, Andrew's 23 now.
Yeah.
But we've invited him to stay in our home.
He's never home anyway.
He's not home.
Right.
Enough to have laundry pile up in his room. But we wanted him to stay home because we don't want him to go start out just paying rent and wasting all his money when he can save a bunch of money and build up a nest egg and then go do what he wants to do with a house and a training facility and all these great plans that he has and a place to put that Formula V.
Actually, what he needs to do is hold on to the FV, and when he gets his own place, like if it was my Formula V, I would hang it on the wall.
He is gonna hang it. He is gonna hang it from the wall. His friend Preston is just majored in architecture from Auburn University, so I am sure Preston can help him figure out how to hang that thing.
Well, Natasha and I are actually looking for a house right now that we can build that garage/shop on. So if he needs a place to put it, I'll hang it on my wall.
Nice. You're on.
I'll hang it on my wall until he's ready to hang it on his wall.
We are shaking on that.
Cool. I have no issues with that.
I don't know what I'm going to do with all that space in my garage.
I used to have bent race car parts, like Star Mazda wings and stuff hanging all over the place, and I was forced to get rid of that at one point, and now I kind of want it all back. And now we have Nemesis Lab, where we're sitting right now, the studios for the 0 to 60 podcast.
Why don't we tell our audience what Nemesis Labs is about? Nemesis
Lab is something that I created with a gentleman named Pete Panaya. Pete's up in Pennsylvania. Hi, Pete. You're my brother. You're my boy, Blue. And Clint Folsom here local, who we will have Clint on this podcast at some point in time.
I haven't seen Clint in a while.
Clint is my partner at Nemesis. We are building simulation and gaming hardware. The focus on the chassis designs that we have is motorsport oriented, but that's just so you can have a very comfortable place to sit and either race, fly, game, work. The chassis that we've created, it basically morphs itself into whatever you want it to be.
To the bone.
It's right behind the camera.
It is.
But we're not going to show you right now.
So cool.
It's not ready.
Don't let Max see that.
Max is definitely going to see that. And actually, I can turn that into a go-kart about that fast.
Great.
Yeah. So Nemesis is it's my full-time business, and we're 15-ish months of R&D into Nemesis. Have partners. Actually several partners all over the globe right now that we're working with to develop very high-end pedal sets, shifters.
That's the real deal over there. That
we
pedal
use
set.
real motorsport components for simulation and even console gaming. So those pedals that you see right there, which came out, you bolt those right into a real race car. They will work with PlayStation and Xbox.
I mean, I was shocked when I turned around. I'm like, wow, that's the real deal, Sean. Those are real pedals.
And then I was like, yeah.
He's like, no brainer.
Yeah. So that's Nemesis. Having a lot of fun with it, and it's. I've owned a couple software companies where we built simulation software for driver development and engineering tools. Worked as a marketing director for a couple different hardware companies. Consulted with a couple different hardware companies over the years, and just finally came to the realization that if I was going to build what I truly wanted to build, if I was going to be able to, really bring out the stuff that I want to bring out, I have to do it myself.
Absolutely.
So
if you want it done right, do it yourself.
if you want it done right according to you, I mean, I'm not
Yeah.
saying that I'm right and I'm the only person that's ever been right, and I'm not that arrogant to say that, but I know what we're building is cool, and I hope the rest of the planet thinks so.
So that's
as
why
well.
you've been so busy for 15 months.
Yes, that's why 0 to 60 stopped. Well, one of the reasons
Right.
why 0 to 60 stopped, and then Andrew got busy with Porsche, got busy with his professional racing and coaching, and the young man has been traveling all over the place, driving everything.
We're pretty proud of
and
him.
You should be.
He's got a lot of exciting things happening. We had a not so exciting weekend, but we could talk about.
No,
that
that was a
little bit.
very exciting weekend. I mean, it was.
It would have been an exciting weekend.
It was exciting in ways that you didn't want it to be.
Oh yeah, for sure.
There was excitement.
There was excitement there.
There was a word that was said that you never want to hear at a racetrack.
No.
That word is fire.
Yes.
Fire's bad.
Fire's bad. But
He's young and he's quick. And he
yeah,
got
and
out
that
of the
was
car
that was one of our biggest concerns because Andrew, God bless him, would never really exercise and do strengthening and stretching his whole entire life. So he can't bend over and touch his toes. So we yeah, I can. So we always worried, can he really get out of the car? I mean, obviously he had to pass his SCCA test and get out of the car quick enough, but he had adrenaline going then. But he definitely had adrenaline going this past weekend. He was out of the car in less than 8 seconds, even after pausing for a second, thinking to himself, I can't believe this is really happening.
Is his car really on fire? Yeah, you never want to be in a car with a 5-point harness and hear the word fire.
Right.
And it got pretty big there for a second.
Well, because the fuel spilled, so it was a fuel poof, and kudos to Joey who had the extinguisher. He put out Steven's arm who caught on fire quickly, and then put the car out. Andrew was already out by the time you saw all the smoke and everything, and I didn't even have. Everyone said, "Oh my gosh, as a mom, you must have just died," and I really don't worry about him in the race car. He is so much safer in that race car than he is driving to the track.
All of us are.
All of us are, and I was much safer than me driving over here today to do this podcast. But I guess because I was filming. I filmed his pit stop and rolling in, and then I saw the fueler not holding the jug correctly. And I thought, and I had turned off the video, and then I went to turn it on to see what was going to happen. And before I knew it, I saw smoke. So I'm like, I should back away from this car. Right. And then I kind of backed away. Even the videos of the concrete, my feet and everything.
This is on pit road at Daytona.
This is on pit road at Daytona. And then all of a sudden I turned around and this big fireball, and it was kind of all done. He was out of the car, and it was like, oh, cool. Not cool, but he's okay. He's safe. If anything, he almost... when the EMT came over, the officials came over and said, you got to go get checked out. He tripped kind of trying to go over the wall. So if anything, he was going to hurt himself. Afterwards, I have that on camera too.
That's never good.
No, I won't show that out in public.
Yeah, we don't want to show the world that. You just told the world that.
I know, I did. Sorry,
he's
Andrew.
He's gonna be mad at you for that?
No, he's got a good sense of humor.
All right, we covered me.
Oh,
we covered Andrew and why Andrew's... Well, one of the reasons why Andrew's not here. We need to cover you.
Yes.
We need to know your background and where you fall into this equation as far as love of automobiles and things with wheels that move you, and where did it come from? I know what you've done for a living for a long time. You have a tie in a very big way, in a very significant way, to the automotive world, but there's more. Yeah. There's definitely more to it than that. So tell everybody who you are and what you do and why you're here.
So, ironically...
No pressure.
No pressure. No pressure. Well, I kind of like to talk about it. It's kind of a cool story. And I got into my career, which is technically, it's a long term, but I am a certified child passenger safety instructor. And currently I work for a company called Deono. We manufacture child safety seats and strollers and baby carriers and all kinds of travel accessories for families on the go. Shameless plug.
Shameless. That wasn't shameless at all. That was as shameless as my plug for Nemesis.
So I'm their global safety advocate, the voice and face of their company, and I became a child passenger safety instructor because, ironically, I was worried about Andrew riding on a school bus without a 5-point harness car seat. The school bus had lap belts, And I knew at 4 years old, I didn't know a lot, but at 4 years old with a lap belt just seemed a little strange to me. And then in doing my research, and this is way before we can Google anything, somehow I found that on the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration website that it stated that children under a certain weight should be riding in a 5-point restraint, or a restraint, because we had 5-point and 3-point at the time, on a school bus this particular size. So the local children's hospital here in Alabama, in Birmingham, had a car seat fitting station, and so I was speaking with the ladies that ran that program, and they're like, hey, you seem very passionate about this, why don't you come get certified? I'm like, well, whatever that means, sure. So I was at the Hoover Fire Station in Inverness, and I walked into this room on the second floor of the fire station, and there were 25 students, mostly firefighters, paramedics, nurses, and sitting in the room, and 100 different car seats around the room. And I was floored. I didn't realize there was that many car seats.
Right.
Yeah. The class was 4 days long.
We've never had kids, so
yeah, all day long. 100 question, not an open book test. So it was pretty intense. Anyway, realized there was a big need, not only in my community, but really throughout the world. Most car seats are not installed properly. 500 children die on our roads somewhere in the world every single day. Every day. 500 children, whether they're not restrained properly or they're getting hit because they're trying to cross dangerous roads, like in underdeveloped countries.
Right.
So there's no reason for this.
Every day?
Every day, 500 children die every day.
I'm gonna say that. No, I'm not gonna say it one more time.
Yeah,
but
people need to hear.
I had no idea.
500 children every day. So that's an elementary school. That's our whole elementary school is 500, 600 children where I live. And anyway, this doesn't, it didn't need to happen, and I just felt compelled to be part of this program and help, because it didn't matter whether you had a 6th grade education or 2 PhDs. People don't know this.
Right. No,
you didn't know.
I didn't know.
Yeah. So
I've been involved in the automotive world since I was born, basically, and I had no idea.
So I volunteered at Children's Hospital here, then I started my own nonprofit, and then 2008 the economy tanked, so did the nonprofit, because our mortgage company was funding it.
Right.
And then I helped Paul start a couple of companies, and then Deono came a-knocking. So I went to work almost 8 years ago for Deono, and it's been a great ride, and I get to really speak about how to keep children safe, not just in our products, but really I can advocate for anybody's products. Right. But obviously I promote our products.
Well, of course.
Yeah, and the love for not just safety, but the passion and the enthusiasm. I would say more about enthusiasm. I don't know if I'm passionate yet, but I'm very enthusiastic. I mean, I listen to Andrew, right?
You have no choice.
And if you ever listen to Andrew Pinkerton,
you have 2 sons that are into racing.
Yes.
You only had one.
I only have one. Now I have double. So I think one thing that excited me about you asking me to do this podcast with you was, one, I can learn a whole lot more, and I can have a conversation with my children, an intelligent conversation. 2, I think more women need to learn, because it always seems like it's a male-dominated industry, like a lot of industries are, which is fine. But maybe I can help some other women.
Yeah, to a certain extent, but you'd be surprised how many women are.
I know there's a lot. I know there's a lot, but I mean,
my wife is one.
Right,
so
right. But proportionately, it's mostly
men,
and so let's get more women involved. It'd probably be better for marriages and relationships. Might help me find Andrew somebody, because it's going to take a special.
We're not even going to go there.
It's going to take a special gal to capture Andrew. That's for sure.
You're going to need someone like Natasha.
Yeah,
basically.
Absolutely. But a lot of times he talks, and it just goes shoo, right over my head. So.
Most people don't understand that Andrew and I literally would go in on a Saturday morning to record 0 to 60 live. We'd go live on APH Radio for 2 hours with maybe 5 talking points.
Right.
We would talk for an hour and a half before we went live about what we were going to do when we were live. We would say about 30 minutes into that conversation, this should really be part of the show. Don't talk about that anymore. The show would start. We'd do 2 hours. We would leave, go get lunch, and talk for 2 more hours about cars. If we didn't have the radio show, we would have just sat there and talked about cars for 5 hours.
Right.
But
I don't know that you're going to get that out of me.
I'm probably not going to get that out of you, but we're going to get a different perspective.
You know what? But what we can do is we could just all go to lunch together with Natasha and Paul, and
put a mic in the middle of the table.
Yeah, and if Andrew is there and Max, we could all sit around and chat about cars.
I'm all for that.
I mean, because we're going to be going to lots of places, seeing a lot of different things.
0 to 60 round table.
0 to 60 round table. I mean, I'm going to be at racetracks between going to Andrew's events and now Max's events. Max has his first go-kart race in an LO2 Cosmic Kart this Saturday at Atlanta Motorsports Park.
He's got a lot of time on that track too. So.
Oh, he has a lot of time on that track.
Andrew's told me he's actually pretty quick.
He can keep up with Big Brother on that track.
That's crazy.
That is crazy. So
how old is Max?
He'll be 15 this summer, which is
all
even crazier to think.
Yeah, I don't.
My
I've known y'all
sweet
for a while now.
You have sweet little curly head boy, but. So he's very excited. Matter of fact, they were prepping the car yesterday, prepping it last night. Paul and I, we don't have a truck anymore. Why? We decided my daily driver is now a Volvo S90.
And it's beautiful.
Sweet car. Love it.
It's a barge, and it floats, but it's gorgeous.
It is.
It does what it's supposed to do.
It does. It's got a V6 in it, but that's all it needs. I mean, that thing gets up and goes.
Oh, Alpha's only got a little 4-cylinder.
Yeah, so.
It flies.
Yeah. So anyway, now we don't have a way to transport a car or a cart. so yesterday, Paul and I spent about 3 hours driving around Birmingham, going to different rental car agencies and U-Haul, trying to figure out how we're going to haul this cart because Paul didn't want to leave it out in the open because they're staying at a hotel Friday night. So we had all these parameters we were looking for. Anyway.
Your car's big enough, you could drop the seats and just put the thing in the...
I thought about that. But then that's quite a projectile in a car crash.
Oh.
So I always think safety, right?
You and your safety.
I know. So Paul wanted to rent a 15-passenger van. I was like, no 15-passenger van. Those are death traps.
But I like them.
You like them?
I just like vans in general.
But a 15-passenger?
Well, I could take the seats out of the 15-passenger and have enough room to put a simulator in the back of it fully set up.
Well, that's true, but
it could be my rolling office.
Well, the problem with Paul driving a 15-passenger van is, number one, he never pays attention. I mean, I give him a hard time. He's never crashed the car since we've been together, 25 years now.
But did you die?
No, I have not died with him, but I just, all it takes is one jerk of the wheel and that thing just goes rolling. So, anyway, so I forbid the 15-passenger van.
To get a Pacifica.
It wasn't wide enough, so that a bumper on the go-kart is almost 54 inches wide.
Really?
It is. It's huge. It takes up a lot of space in my
garage. Don't know why I didn't realize.
Yeah, it takes up a lot of space.
Wide.
They are pretty wide. So now the vans have, and probably even the Pacifica have more room in the second row, but the thing's 100 pounds. Max isn't quite He-Man yet, so for him to kind of, we didn't know if he could maneuver it catty corner and then shove it in and then turn it. It was just going to be a fiasco, and I'm not going to be in town, so I just didn't want all heck to break loose. But anyway, we finally decided budget at the airport, Birmingham Shuttleworth Airport, off property, has F-250s, Ram 2500s. They have a 150, but the bed is only 5 foot long, so we need a 6-foot bed. So Paul's got to call the rental car on Friday, say, hey, we're the ones that need the 6-foot bed, so hopefully Donna at Budget, please, is going to hold it off for them, and they'll go down the road with a big.
I'm just trying to think of anything else that it could fit in. Like I don't know what else it could fit in.
It really can. I mean,
I guess a proper race car is massively wide.
It is, and even an Expedition, it wouldn't fit in an Expedition either. So if you're looking for width, I mean, length wasn't a problem. It was the width.
Tahoe.
Nope, wasn't wide enough for the back. I know it's shocking. I know.
Can't believe. I'm picturing Tahoe in my head and then cart.
No.
And I can't believe that it won't fit in the Tahoe.
It is amazing how wide that thing is. It takes up a lot of space in my garage. Anyway, I'm wishing Max all the best, and hopefully Paul will stream it live, I have to go to New York City, where there's no racetrack.
What you doing in New York?
So there's a consumer show. So this is what I do for the company. I end up at consumer shows, speaking with new and expecting parents and teaching them all about our products.
There's a racetrack right outside the city that's awesome.
What's the name of it?
Monticello.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, Monticello, is that right outside the city?
It's 45 minutes.
No, it's got to be north than that.
No, it's 45 minutes.
Only 45. And Andrew's going to be there next week.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I love Monticello.
Yeah.
We actually, one of my software companies, we digitized Monticello Motor Club before they ever broke ground. We used GPS surveys, satellite imagery, and about 50,000 photographs, and had all of their architectural drawings for all of the trackside buildings and stuff, and we digitized it, put it inside simulation, and they used it to sell memberships to Monticello before they ever broke ground.
How cool is that? So is that how iRacing does it as well?
They laser scan stuff.
They laser scan.
Yeah, they laser scan stuff. Our stuff was accurate, as accurate as Google Earth Pro could get you with GPS plot points. Laser scanner gets you drilled down to more details as far as surface, like undulations of the surface and breaks in the racing surface and things like that. But considering, and we called it a Google track.
Yeah.
I mean, we just created it from architectural drawings. Like, they're literally, our version of Monticello Motor Club, there's a clubhouse and a couple buildings around the track that they never built that we have in our version. And there are things like in the paddock where they have two paddocks. They have a long circuit and a small circuit. It has like north and south circuit, I think is what they have up there. And the south circuit, the smaller of the two, has a really nice little garage section on it. And it was supposed to have this like big sailboat looking sail coming off the roof and out in front of the garages, and they never built any of that. But it's in our version, and people saw it and they bought 6-figure memberships.
Yeah.
Based on.
Isn't that a phenomenon that there are actually racing or private car country clubs, basically?
Awesome, and they're everywhere.
How many do you think there are in the country?
Oh my God, there's Monticello, there's the Ridge out in Washington State, which I don't even know whether they have any paddock buildings, but it's one of the most epic racetracks I've ever seen in my entire life. There's Motorsport Ranch down in Houston. There is Chicago Autobahn, which is awesome. Chicago Autobahn is crazy, just because, and I've done a lot of programs up there. It's a cool little track, nothing spectacular, but like Bobby Rahal has a place there, and there's like all of these professional racers have garages at the track, and they're like garage mahals. They're like the really nice garage with really nice condo over top of it,
okay,
with all kinds of toys. And it's just a neat place, but it's also...
So you could live there too if you wanted to.
I don't know whether they allow you to live on the property or whether like you could stay out there for a certain amount of days, which I don't know whether you can have a permanent residence there or not. There's a couple places where you can. I think there's Spring Mountain out in Vegas. I think they have condos now. VIR is an established racetrack,
right, yeah.
But there's condos on
right.
site there now too, and I don't know whether anybody's living there or whether that's just race weekend rentals or whatever. But there's stuff like that popping up all over the place. Getting back to the Chicago Autobahn, I have to say this. I have to get it out of my system. I have never seen a racetrack hold water the way that Chicago, like, it must be built on a swamp. I didn't even know there was like.
So that's not a good thing, though.
No, it was. We've been out there in torrential downpours with Porsche programs. I've seen someone spin a Carrera 4S, just someone coming into a World Road Show event, general public coming in to drive the car at about 12 miles an hour. This is an all-wheel drive, the most stable Porsche you could ever get behind the wheel of. And the corners at Chicago Autobahn, they're concrete and they have seams running across the entrance and exits of both corners. It can pour, it'll stop raining for hours. The straightaways are completely and totally dry. And the corners, about 20 feet off of those seams in both directions, both out onto the straightaway and into the corner, it's like Old Faithful.
I think if I was a member, I would be asking them to fix those.
It's crazy. I don't think they can. I think it's a water table thing.
There's always ways you can grade the property.
I don't know.
Yeah.
All I know is it's nuts.
Kind of reminds me of
Fun,
one of the
but
golf
nuts.
courses here would always flood, and they totally had to revamp the whole thing, rebuild.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, it could be done. I mean, you can move earth and get it done the right way.
Would you have to break the track up to do it, though?
Well, yeah, absolutely.
Right.
It'd be worth
Speaking
it.
of breaking tracks up, you know they're repaving Barber.
Are they really?
Yeah.
Wow. When are they doing
Have
that?
you not heard that?
I have not heard that.
August.
Okay, that's a good time to do it because it's hotter than heinous.
It's 193 degrees down here in August.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
no, it's not 193.
193.
It's almost 193 here in your lab.
It's 193 degrees. That's the one
on
thing
the
about.
pavement.
I can't stand this area in the summer.
Really?
I love living here. I love living in Birmingham, Alabama. I love everything about it except for the weather.
Yeah, I don't mind.
Y'all gotta fix that.
I don't mind. I like hot and humid. It just,
Ugh.
yeah, it just feels better.
I
My
wanna-
body feels better.
I want to dome the state.
You want to dome the state? No, because that would put all of us way too close together.
No, dome the whole state. I'm not talking about moving people, everyone to Birmingham or Huntsville.
You know, originally
Dome the whole state.
Originally, that was the plan that Walt Disney had to building Disney World in Florida. Was building a dome, sphere neighborhood.
Over the whole park.
Not the park. That was not really the original intention. The original intention was building this city under a dome that people would actually live in. And then when he passed away, the plans fell at the wayside, and his brother took over and decided to create this whole magical, wonderful day at
And
Disney.
that is
What is it called? The happiest
place on earth.
place on earth where
That's-
nobody looks
that
happy.
is your complete and total nothing to do with vehicular anything news. From
No,
0 to
but
60.
there is some cool stuff. They redid.
Tomorrowland's got cool stuff.
Tomorrowland's got cool stuff. They redid the
They've got
fast
some-
track.
That
track.
transportation thing.
No, the track at Epcot, the track ride. What's it called?
The monorail.
No, not the monorail. You actually get in like that, the sports car and.
Right. That's what I was gonna
Yeah,
say.
they redid that, and it's amazing.
Really?
It is. It's really good.
So I need to go.
You need to go. Absolutely. And
I really want to go to I can never remember, getting back to car themes. I can never. What's Disney World, Disneyland? Which one's which?
so Disney World's in Florida,
Okay.
and Disneyland is in California.
And Disneyland has Cars World.
Oh yeah, that's pretty cool too. Same concept.
Have you been there?
I have been there.
Oh, I
I
don't
get
like-
to go to a lot of places.
I really want to see that. That's got to be amazing.
The Cars place is pretty cool, and the ride is really good. It's really long to wait online, but it's an epic adventure.
Can you stay in the cones, like the Cone Hotel and all that stuff from the movie? You remember what I'm talking about?
No, you cannot.
They have it though.
Yes, they have a replica of it.
Right.
Yeah,
But is it just shops and stuff?
yeah,
or
it's
is
just
it- okay.
shops. Anything to get your money.
That's a bummer.
Anything to get.
I
Your money.
would
Buy lots of toys.
I would
there.
stay there.
Yeah, it would be cool.
I'd stay there in a heartbeat. We posted a picture on our Facebook page yesterday or the day before. It's a Dodge. I think it's an Intrepid, and it's like the front wheels are, and all it needs is, it looks like Lightning McQueen with his tongue hanging out, and he's all like,
Oh,
worn
yeah,
out
yeah,
and
yeah, I
just
saw
got-
that. I saw that.
All it needs is a tongue coming out.
Speaking of Facebook, social media, we're gonna start rocking and rolling.
We should tie this together. We should tie this together.
Yeah, we should. Ask you all to go ahead and follow us on Facebook and on Instagram, and
Indeed.
yeah, and keep up with us there because we're gonna post fun things, informative things, whatever. Sean does most of the posting because I don't know where you find half of this stuff.
And here
but-
shortly we'll have a YouTube channel as well
Yes.
for live feeds. And tomorrow night I'm actually going out to Holiday Raceway, so I'll do some live stuff out there.
Where is Holiday Raceway?
Holiday Raceway? I think it's Woodstock,
Okay, where's Woodstock?
middle of nowhere.
Georgia or Alabama?
Alabama.
Alabama. I've never.
I'm in Alabaster.
So that's south of Birmingham.
Woodstock is 40 minutes from my house.
Okay.
Don't ask me what direction.
It's funny. I've never heard of
Look
Woodstock.
up Holiday Raceway, and that'll get you there. But we're gonna go out there and play around. I put new tires on the Alpha, and
Right.
I think it'll actually not spin.
Oh, you're gonna actually drive on the track.
Heck yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. Well, anyway, so we're gonna have a YouTube channel so that you can watch our podcast also.
Oh yeah.
And just give you all more content as much as you can stand.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's going to be, like Allana said earlier, it's going to be a mixture of a little bit of everything. I mean, it's all vehicular in nature, but it could be 2 wheels, 4 wheels. I don't care if you're doing cool things with a unicycle. If we dig it, we'll talk about it. Like forever ago, Andrew and we interviewed Andy Lally, and Andy Lally, most of the time when Andy gets on an interview, you're talking about the 24 Hours of Daytona and the 12 Hours of Sebring and all of these sports car events that he's won all over the world, and literally got Andy Lally on 0 to 60. And about 3 minutes into the interview, I was just like, Andy, we're not going to talk about sports car racing. And he's like, well, what are we going to talk about? I was like, we're going to talk about luge. And he's like, you really want to talk to me about street luge? And I was like, absolutely. I want to talk to you about going 100 miles an hour, laying on your back 2 inches off the ground, going down an 18% grade hill. Yeah. You're still on 4 wheels.
It's got wheels.
I will talk about it.
I have a wheel right here.
Yes, you do. That is a heck of a mic stand.
Heck of a mic
stand. We were
stand.
looking for a mic stand, and it was here, and it's car themed.
And that's what it is. It's all about improvising, right? Getting your cars
we improvised
souped
a
up.
lot
Yeah,
tonight.
we did improvise a lot. I can't speak yet.
So
late in the day.
Do you have anything that you want to talk about other than what we're actually going to be up to? Is this just an intro for us, or do you want to actually talk about the story that's happening right now?
We talked about Andrew's race, so and forgive me, but we're going to probably talk about Andrew quite frequently because there are things that are going on in our life.
We'll tie him into other cool stuff.
Hopefully, a lot of cool stuff, and Max. But obviously, we want to cover other things that are happening around the world. One of the probably. In doing some research before the show, I did some research.
I didn't.
Yeah, he didn't do well. He doesn't need to.
I didn't do any. Yeah. I'd still say that. Don't put that on me at all.
Oh well, I got to go to Daytona for the first time ever. I lived an hour and a half. I grew up in Jacksonville, Florida.
What did you think of Daytona Rising?
It was amazing.
It's ridiculous.
And we did,
it's absolutely ridiculous.
It's really amazing. And we actually took the goofy touristy tour and got the goofy touristy pictures, which I just posted on my Facebook page. By the way, you can follow me on Facebook and on Instagram. Instagram, I'm Allana Pinky. Right now, I'm just Allana Pinkerton on my personal page. But go ahead and friend me. I am going to turn that into a business page.
Okay.
When I can figure all that out.
Sure.
But the W Series.
Yeah.
So just realize, Andrew had mentioned it several months ago. So
I have the tiniest of tie-ins.
Tiniest?
The tiniest of tie-ins to the W Series.
So
it's as small as you could possibly have a tie-in, but I've got one. So go where you're going, and then I'll chime in.
So it's interesting because one of the reasons they state why they developed it is to give women a chance and a platform and an opportunity for those whose parents don't have the money. There's this argument that most of these people are buying their rides and their parents are funding everything, which is true, but so are these women. I mean, that's how they got started. But as a mom of a son who needs funding, I kind of find it a little perplexing, but then as a woman, I think it's kind of cool. And then I noticed that when you look at IndyCar, this month they're not highlighting the one woman in the race, but then again, she's not making a splash either.
Danica is coming back this year.
Not Danica.
It's not Danica.
Pippa's
Pippa
man.
Okay, Pippa. I thought Danica was talking about maybe running this year, but evidently
she's not running. But I mean, so they got started this week or last week in where was it in Hockenheim. And
I was going to say Hockenheim.
Hockenheim, however you say it, Hockenheim. Thank you. See, I'm already learning something new. And it was interesting because the Ted Kravitz was interviewing everybody, and his whole theme was, the drivers are all getting used to these cars and used to this style of racing, and it was just they were all spinning, they all spun, and the drivers and the fans think the races should be longer, so that's probably true.
I hope they end up being a little bit longer.
Yeah.
And I actually I've known for quite a while and got to know better a few weeks back out at Barber Shea Holbrook, and Shea is racing in the W Series.
She's one of the Americans racing.
She's one of three, I think. Two Americans? Okay.
Sabra Cook is the other.
Didn't have a great start at Hockenheim. Mm-hmm. Shea had a rough weekend there, but she's fast. She's very fast. And I got to spot for Possum Hall Motorsport Development, which is right down the street from the lab here in Alabaster, and Shay was driving with them. So I was basically spotting, letting her know what was going on around turns 13, 14, 15, 16 at Barber, but I was also coaching a little bit and like just getting her to tidy up a little bit at 16 at the top of the hill. And,
After she hit the wall?
No.
Or was that before she hit the wall?
There's things happen. We're not going to talk about that. Shay's actually very quick, and she's incredibly nice. But one of the things, and if I hope she ends up seeing this because I think it's hilarious. I have never had anyone on the radio start singing karaoke while you're trying to...
What did she sing?
I don't remember what she was singing, but she would just literally key the mic up and she's singing at the top of her lungs. And it was awesome.
They have an 18-year-old in the race. Her name is Marta Garcia. She qualified on P5.
That was at Hockenheim?
Yeah.
Because they're at Zolder this weekend.
Yeah.
Zolder's crazy.
Yeah, so they're at Zolder. But pretty interesting concept. 18 drivers, 18 engineers. They look like they're got some great funding. They have cool, headquarters that come in with all the pods, just like an F1, headquarters comes in. And
that F3 car is a proper race car.
Yeah, it is. So I'm hoping that it's successful. It's not live streamed. It's live streamed on their Facebook private group, I believe. So if you want to see the races live, join their private group, which is just open to the public, but you still have to wait for approval or whatever. So it's not easily. I don't know why they didn't broadcast it on YouTube, unless it's just So
I don't know.
So if you want to watch it live, go ahead and join their Facebook group.
Definitely worth checking out. One of the other cool things that the W Series does that is kind of reminds me of IROC, and I don't know if you know a whole lot about IROC back in the day, the International Race of Champions. It's something that NASCAR used to do where, well, actually it wasn't NASCAR. It was its own organization, and they had a fleet of identical whatever they happened to be racing that year. Way back in the 70s, they were running Porsches. They've run Dodge Daytonas, like the little Chrysler
right.
little 4-cylinder turbo Dodge Daytonas. They had a fleet of those at one time. They had Firebirds. They had just all kinds of different cars, but it was drivers from all kinds of disciplines. So you had road racers and NASCAR guys and Trans Am guys, and I think you even had some like World Superbike guys, like and MotoGP folks. They'd come in and everybody would get an identical car, and then if you were in the series for the whole year, you switched cars. And the W Series is doing that as well. Like Shay's had a mechanic in a car at Hockenheim, and this weekend at Zolder, all of the drivers switch.
Oh, that's an interesting twist.
So they all get to drive all of the cars. It's cool.
Is that one of the reasons why they have all the simulators set up? Because they jumped right into the simulators basically after this week. I
don't think that wouldn't matter as much. I mean, the simulator is it's literally because a lot of these young ladies are young, or I guess some are a little bit older ladies. They just haven't been to the tracks that they're going to. So it's more of an acclimation thing than it is a setup thing for them at this stage of the
Will
game.
They get to test before the race or practice rather?
I think they do.
Yeah.
I think there's practice sessions. I can't imagine that they just throw them out there and say qualify and go.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, the more time that you can spend behind the wheel.
Are the setups all the same for all the cars?
I think you have don't quote me on this, but I think they have engineers who are allowed to make changes to the chassis based on driver feedback. But the cars are identical.
Right.
It's kind of like just name a spec series.
Okay.
It is a spec series. They're all the same chassis, all the same motor. They're all running on the same tire. But if you were driving that car and I was driving that car, our driving styles differ, and what we want a car to do, turning into a corner, going through the middle of a corner, coming off a corner, the way it puts its power down.
Are we saying we're different in a good way or a bad way?
I'm just saying we're different. Everybody's different when it comes to
Earlier I was
that.
saying we're like the frickin' frack of podcasters.
Are we really?
We
Is it just because I forgot my pearls?
Yeah, you forgot your pearls. I'm wearing pearls for our inaugural podcast.
I'll drink to that. I'm gonna.
So I think we should have a question of the week or question of the podcast, because I don't know if we're going to do this weekly yet. Hopefully, we will get to where we do this.
Do you have one already?
I do have one already.
Okay.
Max wants to know, and all these will probably stem from things I hear from my children, but Max wants to know why F1 is not as popular here in the U.S. Why don't we have more F1 races here in the U.S.?
Do you want folks to chime in, or do you want me to chime in?
Well, it's a question. It's got to have to be for you right now. So I mean, people can comment below.
I mean, it's only going to be an opinion. Obviously,
right.
It's not going to be this is the definitive reason why. But I think that Formula One and road racing in general in the United States is not as popular as NASCAR, and I say that with a grain of salt because the popularity of NASCAR is hurting right now. If any of you are NASCAR fans, I'm not saying that I don't like it. I just am saying that I think NASCAR needs some changes. But we'll get back to the F1 question. I think road racing and F1 in general aren't as popular because they are not in a coliseum where everyone can see every single thing that's happening for the entire event. I think once a car, like if you're a fan of a road race series, you don't care that a car goes by you and you see it for 5 seconds and then it's gone for a minute and a half. That's a rare breed when it comes to a motorsport fan. And I think it goes back to almost like Roman Coliseum spectacle kind of thing. Like an oval race where it's just 40 cars, going around in a circle and they're all right there underneath you. There's something about that, I think, that's almost primal. And people just really, like, the masses dig it. Like, if I really think that you could step up the popularity of Formula One and you could step up the popularity of road racing in this country if you brought them both to Rovals, which is a roval, which is it's an oval with a road course inside it. Homestead, Daytona,
right.
Indianapolis.
Well, but even in Daytona, it's hard to see the road course. I sat up in the stands on my tour, and I couldn't really see
because the track's monstrous.
Yeah.
Homestead's a little easier. Charlotte has a new road course in the middle of it. Charlotte's always had a road course, but the new configuration, Charlotte, 1.5 mile track, it's easier to see what's going on in the road course. And then with Jumbotrons.
Right, Jumbotron, because when you're sitting at Barber, sitting there out in the beautiful, Augusta National of racetracks, and just looking at a globe, we are so spoiled. I mean, we are. Even
if
now,
you're a race fan,
oh my gosh, we're so spoiled.
We're in the right place.
But even just sitting there, you and I were sitting at the Turn 9 Club this past spring, and
wait a minute,
were
we?
We'll get our pinky
we were
finger
sitting at the Turn 9 Club.
We were, and I don't think we had a Globetrot in front of us though. There,
we didn't need one. We had closed circuit TV.
We did have closed circuit, but you can't sit outside. So just the fact that you're sitting outside and you're watching the big, Globetron, because I've sat on Turn 2 before with the big Globetron. It was great. I mean, I didn't have to see the actual track, just being out there and being in the atmosphere. So yeah, that all makes sense to me. So I'll go back to Max and give him your opinion. Hopefully.
And if folks that see this have an opinion on it, I mean, I like I said, I don't claim that as the be-all, end-all truth of the matter, but I think there's a lot to it.
I think that's logical.
I could be wrong. I've been wrong at least twice. At least twice.
My kids say I'm always right.
Really?
Yes. They say, Mom, why are you always right?
Are we really going to end this on that?
We are.
We're going to end this on that. All right, so episode 1 of the 0 to 60 podcast, I believe, is in the books. This has been more of an introduction than an actual episode. We hope you guys turn in. We hope you tell your friends about it. Alana and I really do want to build this into something where we can have a lot of fun with it and interact with not only folks locally here in the Birmingham area,
right,
but we want to take it out on the road. We want to be a part of events happening all over the place. Both of us have the background where we're used to large events and huge experiential deals, and I'm not afraid to get on an airplane, and I know you're not either because you're about ready to get on one. So
this Friday I'll be there bright and early, 5 a.m.
So if there's anything automotive up there, you gotta shoot some cool stuff.
I will. If I find anything, I'm gonna make sure I shoot it back to you.
Or even if you just you're in New York City, so you're gonna be passing. There's Ferraris in New York City and Lamborghinis and stuff, and all of them have yacht tender bumpers on them. I want pictures of a Ferrari 488 with these giant rubber bumpers so they
Where
don't get dinged up.
Where do you think I'm hanging out?
In New York City.
I know, but
I think you're hanging out there. We're done?
We're done.
We're done. Thanks for watching. We appreciate it. We'll be back. We'll be back next week. I get through 45 minutes and no issues and go with back. We'll be back next week with more 0 to 60. We appreciate it. It's good to be back.
Hey.
Thank you for joining me.
Yeah, buckle up. Stay safe, everyone.
Cool. Night.
Awesome. That's a wrap.
Boom. Save it. You're recording.
Please do. How long was that? That was 50 minutes.